Well, I had the wood in the basement, so I decided to make a top. You can make them any size, and they just really are fun. It's chattered on one side, and I use the decorating elf on the other side. And I've got one I'm working on now that's about 3 inches bigger than this. I haven't finished the launcher yet, but when they're this big, they really spin for a long time, and you can have an awful lot of fun with them. I got a brass tip in here. You can use a nail. I got the Jerry Darter a couple of years ago turned me on to some place where you could get these brass tips, and so it'll spin on that, and it'll do it for a long time. It was a lot of fun. It's not for Santa's workshop. It's for Santa.
That's a component from that rocket NASA wants to fire. Okay. All right, made a whole batch more of tops for Sean.
Thank you, John.
I've been turning tops in open turning. So we got those. And then I also did something with one of the lenses. I don't know how well this shows up in the camera, but the wood is apricot, which I got from Craft Supply. And the pieces that I have all have this multicolor effect. It's not dyed or marked or anything. It just has a thin coat of CA glue on it for a finish.
Well, I've got a variety of woods. I've got Paduke, Purple Heart, was that walnut, and maple. And this was the branch of a big tree out in my front yard, and it came down, and I had it in my garage for, a couple of years at least, and it spalted. So I made blanks out of it. And then I'm not sure what these two kinds of wood are, but it's just, I used to work for a remodeling contractor, and a guy wanted something special for his kitchen cabinets. So I went over to Metro and just picked up a wide variety of lumber. And of course, then he decided he didn't want to do it after all.
I did bring some more tops for Sean. But these are a couple of the uses that I did with the optical lens, and this was just kind of clamshelled in. And if you put it down on about table height and roll it across, it makes for a good little magnifying glass for menus and things. And then I'm more proud of my sewing job that I did on the little pouch that it fits in. This one it took a little bit of thinking, and but it's got a pin going through it that allows it to spin, and I put some leather on the inside so it wouldn't rattle or shake or scratch the lens, and it goes right back in there and spins out, and just thought it was fun.
I used the lens also. I think I made this out of pear, and it's designed to set up at approximately its focal length. It actually can go a little higher. And I let light in so that you wouldn't have to squint as bad. I neglected to sand the inside though. So
That's in case, no.
So I just made a lighthouse and put the lens in for the window, and then decided I needed a lens in every window. So I went online and bought some more lenses so that I would have a lens in every window. And now I want to start over because I know how I want to change it. But that's what I did.
So I discovered that I've not made many tops before. And oh, there goes one. So I do spin. Yeah, these are the ones that spin. There's a few that didn't spin and I didn't bring those. So but they're maple and cherry and maple and cherry and some more maple and cherry because that's what I had available. And then I of course I first said, oh, I'm going to do it all with the skew. And then after the first couple, I just said, no, I'm going to get my spindle gathers out and do it that way. So, but it was fun. So these are for the kids.
All right. Do any of our online folks have anything? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep this thing. Oh, do we got another one? Somebody else bring some tops in. Phil, is Phil gone? I bet it was Phil. Yep. Yep. Okay. We did good. We're well on our way to get our 1,000, but remember those 2 weekends we got coming up, 2 Saturdays for turning more tops. So now we're just going to go over to our, oh no, actually we've got to have our drawing. Chuck, you want to pick somebody honest, but you don't pick her because she picks me. And our 4 numbers are 4276. There we go. All right. Ed got him a winner. We got $10 gift certificate up there to, I think, the craft supplies. All right. Thank you. Thanks for everybody that participated in the challenge tonight. It was fun to see different tops and different ways people are doing those, as well as the different incorporation of the lenses. I think we may continue to see more of that. So looks like we got a few things on the show and tell table. So if you've got an item, bring it up and let's hear about it.
Every year, my wife and I get together with her college roommates, and I usually bring something along. There's four things I need to bring. So this year I'm bringing 4 bowls. I already showed 2. These are the other 2. This one I know it might be ash. It's a rescue bowl. Somebody threw it away in the shop. They'd cut it down about 1 inch and it was warped a little bit. And so I finished it off and said, it's mine. This is walnut, and I'd done a lot of turning on this and left a big knob in the center, and it was kind of thick, and Anthony said it's got to be thin and you got to get rid of the knob. So he did both, which is great. And one of the things that I found out about turning bowls, I turned 4 of them. I don't like turning bowls. So this is probably the last bowls you'll ever see.
I don't remember if I brought this in when it was still in a rough state or not. I used the veneer that's in the workroom, and a Japanese saw to cut the kerf. And then I put the veneer, 2 thicknesses of the veneer in as splines. I don't put these in because it structurally needs it, just because people look at it and they say it's cracked. And then you look and say, oh, but it's been repaired. And so that's good. And this is box elder, and it's just a friction fit box. Or shellac.
After turning a whole bunch of tops, I started going nuts. So I started turning crotches, which this one ended up being the best in pattern, except it's better on the back than it is on the front. Oh, well. Yeah. The only thing is my daughter takes offense to calling these crotches. Has anyone got a better name for this? Oh, okay.
So I got some little corian samples, a whole box of them at work. They were getting rid of the rep that we got them from. And so I made none of them are the same color, so I can't make anything one singular color, but I made a multicolored egg shape and really practiced on my egg. But then I got to turn in so dang many tops that I decided I had a little cutoff from them, and I decided I wanted it to be my egg yolk. So I made a little egg yolk, and it just happens to spin real well inside the bottom of it, and the top, it'll spin on the base of it too. So, and when I turned it that way, it fit in there and didn't rattle around. So I was pretty excited about that.
I thought I'd share my very first turning. This is a modified slimline pen made out of zebra wood. It's got 10 coats of CA finish on it. But instead of bringing it down to the fine point on here, I left it wide so I could put a cove in for the ergonomic finger grip. And I got all this material at Metro. My very first.
A while back, I got a piece of ash a couple years ago, and it was from a fellow whose tree was bored by the emerald ash borer. And when I asked him, well, where does the borer bore? He said, you'll see when you do any work on the tree. So I decided I'd make a cord set of bowls and see where the borer actually bores. So this little borer bored one little hole in the middle. In the second component, there's only a few little holes, but where the borer actually bores is in the outside of the bowl, on the outside cadmium part of the tree. And you can see lots of little worms. And I will tell you that when you go to take those out of there, that micro tool that you showed with the sanding works a lot better than the dental pick. So if you ever go to the dentist, make sure he's using one of those micro motors. But anyway. Oh no, the wormholes were really fast with that other. The turning took a while, and it's finished with armor seal. So no, I turned it dry. I did wear goggles and a face mask, but that's for the disguise that my wife likes to use. So it has nothing to do with turning.
Okay, I think that brings us to an end of another monthly meeting. Oh, we got one online. All right, David, go ahead and share. 1 second, we got to get your voice up. Oh,
I
you
say,
got
I think, all right, let's start this with a maple burl. I cleaned off all the bark, and you can see that it's a little bit rugged and was pretty much new year growth, I'd say, or, you know, this is the outside part of a burl. It has a sister burl, which is over 100 pounds, but we'll get to it in another month or two. And let's see. Can you go to the next one? This was poured in my epoxy bowl for a mold for the burl. And this is a deep set resin. You notice there's some bubbles on top, but they come to the top. And the other just commentary, you got to keep the bowl immersed. And so I found these little plastic cups are really good to do that. And if you put a heavy rock on top of them, you can keep it underwater. And this bowl, the mold is a Tyvek covered leaf bag paper mache bowl around the outside of it. Next one. And then it was cored, and this is the result of the epoxy fill for the outside of the outer bowl. That's a 9-inch bowl, and it's got blue and brown in it, and it turned out to be, I think, rather colorful. And then there's, you know, this is the darker wood in the barrel. And then the last is the center 7-inch bowl that was cored, and it does not have any plastic in it. It is just burl, but it is from the same piece of wood as the barrel. And then I finished this with essentially walnut oil and sanded it to like 600 grit, and it's very smooth, but it's quite irregular inside. So that took probably an elapsed time of about 5 weeks or so time I got this, all the steps done. But I've now practiced to do what will be an 18-inch cord set of maple burl. That's the story.
What kind of resin did you use?
I used a deep pour resin. I don't remember the name of it, but I used first I used a penetrating resin on it. That's Total Boat penetrating resin to just coat the burl with, so that you can get it into the crevices and whatnot on the outside. And then the Total Boat, the deep pour resin, it's rated to be poured 2 to 4 inches on, like making tops or what have you. And supposedly you don't have to have pressure with it. And I believe that you can do, you know, I did not have bubbles in any of the wood that, you know, and I did spray the top of it with isopropyl alcohol, 90%, and you can just make bubbles instantly go away on the top. It takes about 4 days to get a really cured. It's a slow curing resin, these deep resins.
They sure were beautiful pieces. Thanks for sharing, David.
All right. Y'all have a good week.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, as usual, at the end of the meeting here, if we can get some help putting the chairs back on the sleds and